Our next speaker is a consultant programmer in corporate systems, and he's responsible for maintaining the corporate budgeting system, or what we call the legendary OLS, and other financial systems. He's also the immediate past president of the ETS Toastmasters, current president of the Libertarian Toastmasters, and District 38 parliamentarian. In his spare time, he enjoys backpacking, whitewater canoeing, arguing philosophy and politics, reading science fiction, and my favorite, like myself, drinking beer. Regarding resolutions for this year, he says that in 1968 he made a resolution never to make any New Year's resolutions again. And that's the only one that he has kept so far. And his argument is, it's not that there's anything wrong with New Year's resolution, but he believes the resolutions is a continuous improvement process that should be continuing all the time. It's my privilege to welcome Ken Krawchuk. Ken is going to be presenting his number 4 speech from the Storytelling Advanced Manual, The Touching Story, and it's titled, and I'm going to go on a limb here, Y las Tortugas son muy bonitas. I hope I said it right. Close enough. Thank you. Once upon a time, not so very long ago, there was a little girl. Now, I don't know if it was the positions of the stars, the blessings from above, or the environment, but she was the sweetest little girl in the world. Maybe it was because when she was small, she spent a lot of time outside. Her parents were very big on the great outdoors. When she was 10 days old, they took her on her first camping trip. Now, there's not much you can do with a baby when they're 10 days old. They put her in this little padded picnic basket, and they set her out in the open, under the shade of the trees. And she lay there and watched the birds flit from tree to tree, watched the squirrels as they were playing around, seeing leaves moving back and forth in the breeze. She loved it. So it's no surprise as she grew older, she grew to love the great outdoors. And as a secondary thing, she loved all living things, great and small. For example, when she was about 3 years old, she was walking out in the woods and she would say to her dad, "Be careful, Dad, don't step on the living things." It took her a while to get used to walking on the grass. As soon as she could ask, she wanted a puppy or a kitten. But again, like a star-crossed lover, she's not too big. Because her sister, her big sister, and her father both were allergic to cats, dogs. Wouldn't let them go out. But she was of a sunny nature, and she would go on nonetheless with her smile. When she was about 6, something happened that forever changed her life. Her big sister came home with a prize beyond belief. It was a box turtle that she had found out in the forest. And brought it home and said, "Look, look, look what I've got." Well, of course, the little girl was just taken by this box turtle. She would sit there and stare at it for hours. Now, because it was a wild turtle, it would tend to close up and stay in its box. But would come out for her, where she would entice it with little delicacies, like a cricket or a worm. For no one else would this turtle come out of its box. After a week or so, her dad said, "It's a wild turtle, and he's very scared of us. It really needs to be back outside." So back where it went, back where it came from, it went to once again. But she didn't forget. All through the winter, she'd say, "I really miss that turtle. Can I get a book on turtles?" So she asked Santa Claus for all sorts of little turtle things. And she got turtle books, little turtle statues, little playthings. She loved them. She played with them all the time. She got an idea. When her birthday came back around in the spring, she saved all her birthday money and went out and bought herself her very own turtle. She went from one store to the other, and finally picked out one that she loved best. She named it Tortuga, which is Spanish for turtle, and it was also named after one of the turtles in one of the books that she had. Well, her and Tortuga, she and Tortuga, they were like this. They became inseparable. everywhere she went, she would have Tortuga right there on her shoulder, holding on. The Tortuga would be looking around, and she'd be running through the neighborhood, and it'd be her and Tortuga. Of course, that made her the darling of all her friends, because she had her very own turtle. She loved this turtle. Took him everywhere. Take him to Grandma's house. Whenever it was show and tell, guess what she took to school? Tortuga. Everywhere she went, it was Tortuga this, Tortuga that. Come wintertime, most turtles hibernate. Not Tortuga. Tortuga would stay awake because Tortuga had such a good friend. And I also think Tortuga liked the warm spot on her shoulder where Tortuga would sit. Tortuga got to be a bit famous, too. Big Sister had a school project to do where she needed to do a commercial in Spanish. She looked at Tortuga, the Spanish-named turtle, and said, I'll do a pet shop commercial. And Tortuga was the star of the company. And the little girl had to do a cameo. She only had one line. She practiced it over and over and over again. When she walked into the store, she looked and she said, Y los tortugas son muy bonitas. And the turtle was very beautiful. And the turtle was. She loved this turtle. Every now and then, the turtle would get away. For example, she'd have the turtle out in the backyard. One time, her grandpa came. She loved her grandpa. She just forgot everything and ran out. Said, Grandpa, Grandpa, Grandpa. 20 minutes later, Tortuga, Tortuga, Tortuga. Went out in the backyard, couldn't find her. 2 days later, the neighbor came up the street. Excuse me, is this yours? And everybody knew who it was. Years passed. Year after year, she spent with Tortuga. Now she's starting to grow into a young lady. Again, she's out camping with her family. Beautiful lake right out in front of the tent. And the second day there, it was dark and stormy night. Tortuga had her own box. It was like a fruit box with slits in the side. The slits wide enough for the turtle's head to poke out, but the turtle couldn't escape. But somehow during the night, maybe it was the wind, or somebody bumped it, the box upset. And in the morning when we woke up, no Tortuga, and there was a little hole where the zipper of the tent when we pushed aside. Tortuga escaped. Well, the family went nuts. Where's Tortuga? Looking under the bush. The little girl came out and thought, where? Where would I go if I were Tortuga? Under the bush. She couldn't find him. She put up signs around the campground. Lost, turtle, reward. Pictures as best she could draw of Tortuga. Days passed. Couldn't find Tortuga. Came the day to leave. Packed up all their gear. All that was left was Tortuga's box. One last time, we looked around. Took Tortuga's box, set it on the campfire, and the family stood quiet as the box burned. So the book turned, buried face, and above her shirt. And then got the bottom. But true to her nature, on the way home, all she could do was proud about what a great new home Tortuga had, about how she's got a beautiful lake to live in, about how there are rocks to sun herself. Now it's Tortuga's chance to raise a family. She was happy for Tortuga in Tortuga's new environment. The first thing she did when she got home, 24 hours later, she went back to the pet shop until she found herself a new turtle. She went to several pet shops and picked out one that had the same color shell as Tortuga, but with one thing better. Her pupils in the eyes were little tiny stars. Once again, she had a new friend on her shoulder. Inseparable. And the years passed, and they're still inseparable. But they're not so inseparable that the new turtle couldn't be here with us. Her name is Sally Minnelli, named not after any singer or anything, but after the disease that they were afraid she might have, salmonella. And they still hang out together, and as you can see, they've all lived happily ever after Sally, Tortuga, and the darling little girl, Mr. Tisco. I want to shake hands? No, I'll pass on. Oh, brave man.
Get up, Dave.